Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 has baffled the world's leading aviation and security experts. Malaysian authorities have come under fire for their handling of this incident. Yet some say that while aspects of the investigation and release of information could have been handled better, critics are failing to grasp the complexity of the challenges Malaysia is facing. Our correspondent Ryan Metzler reports from Kuala Lumpur.
A media briefing on day 2 after the disappearance of MH Flight 370. Vague, evasive and uncomfortable.
We are investigating on that. Thank you.
The head of the Civil Aviation Authority can't get out of the room fast enough. It gave a poor first impression to the swarms of international media that had begun descending on Malaysia, shining the brightest and harshest spotlight on the country in its history. Malaysia stood accused of bungling the search operations, being contradictory and too slow to release vital information. The country's defence and acting transport minister, a seasoned UK-educated politician, took over the daily briefings and has generally won praise for how he's handled them. But still the criticism hasn't let up.
It's only 10 days has passed now, a series of errors, multiple criticisms. Is it not time for the Malaysian government to admit that they have made a mistake, that apologise to the family?
We have been very responsible in our actions. I think it is very irresponsible of you to say that.
When Prime Minister Najib Razak eventually revealed that evidence pointed to a commandeering or hijacking, the media and public complained it took too long to put the clues together to reach that conclusion. Malaysia countered that it would only release information once it was verified and corroborated.
MH370. I think a lot of that criticism is unfair. I think Malaysians have mobilised as best they can. They've welcomed support from overseas experts. They've enrolled the support of many other countries around the region and around the world indeed. So I think they're doing what they can. The problem confronting us all is that this is an unprecedented investigation in terms of the scale, the scope.
Still, many think the government created its own problems in the early days of the investigation.
The Malaysian government and the civil service are more used to domestic press, which is very docile. And so when they're put in a situation where hard questions are being asked, they just don't know how to deal with it.
Ultimately, it will only be once the world learns the fate of MH Flight 370 that people will be able to judge how competently or incompetently Malaysian authorities handled this crisis. Ryan Meltzer, CCTV at Kuala Lumpur International Airport.
The search for a missing plane, MH370, continues along 2 corridors. The north one is stretching from Laos to the Caspian Sea, and the south one is from Sumatra Island to the South Indian Ocean and the waters west of Australia.